Hi, it's Ian from the Postal Hub podcast,
And Marek from Last Mile Experts.
and we are the Last Mile Prophets. This is the last word on the last mile. Marek, we're returning to that old classic Amazon in the last mile. And just before we hit record, you mentioned that one of your family members based in Italy and has been blown away by what Amazon is doing in the last mile in Italy. You want to just share a couple of your familial observations before we just sort of get stuck into what's happening here? And I think there's some pointers for the rest of the delivery world. But let's just what do you want to say there first of all?
For those who are not in the know, my son's studying in Milan. He's a frequent user of the service, Amazon service. And, we often talk about what's happening in the US, the UK, a little bit France, but we don't talk about Italy so much. And Italy's a difficult market. The quality of service that he's getting is absolutely incredible. If I remember rightly, I actually think I got it wrong because I said that if he orders in the afternoon, it comes next morning. But I think you said, Ian, that it can even be the same day.
Depending on where you are. If you're in Milan, Rome, they can do same day with just regular Prime. Now, it used to be that Milan, for example, was part of the Amazon Prime Now network, as you all recall. That was the app-based service. You couldn't access it via your computer. You could only access it via app, and it gave you same-day time slot delivery. It was free. They kept on moving the threshold. It used to be free for €20 and above, then free for 35 and above, free for 50 and above, right? But they also did super fast, effectively. You could order and pay a surcharge and get something delivered to you within an hour, and that was within Milan. They then partnered with a couple of local supermarkets you could access food, including fresh, via the Amazon Prime Now app. Now, as many people would know, Prime Now has sort of been changed, and now you just got Amazon Prime. But even just with regular old Amazon Prime, you can get same day delivery, you can have overnight delivery. It's in Italy. Amazon has changed the e-commerce and delivery landscape dramatically. The issue for e-commerce was trust, and I don't think Italy is unique in that respect. That people would say, well, hang on, why would I just trust somebody selling on the internet? Amazon comes along and that trust changes. This is an international behemoth. And Mark, I want to ask you a question before, because I'll go on and on and on about this and we'll run out of our 10 minutes very quickly. From your experience in Amazon, how much does that idea of brand and trust play into their thinking when they're entering a new market?
Ian, it's fundamental. Everything begins and ends with a customer at Amazon. And that's why I think that they really win, because even if they've reduced some of the interactive options for the customer, if Amazon declares a time, the world almost collapses before they don't deliver. And then if they don't deliver, you call customer service and you're treated extremely well. So, there's two parts of it. Number one, they get it right a lot. And then in the few occasions where they get it wrong, you're compensated very, very well. So it works perfectly. And there's one clever thing that they do that's much harder for a carrier to do in the absence of full interactive delivery management, otherwise Uber for parcels, as I call it, which is you can state your preferences. So if you're not home, you say, this is my favorite PUDO, which is nearby. This is my favorite locker. Or mum lives 2 doors away and she's at home all day.
It is a truly modern e-commerce experience. I would say that it's complemented by, and I know I'm playing into your wheelhouse here a little bit, Matty, but the fact that Amazon has probably the biggest parcel locker network in Italy. Okay, some of the parcel lockers are located in unusual locations. I found one on the first floor of a department store the other
Oh, now
day.
that's an interesting one. That's a really interesting one.
First floor of a department store. I found one in the near the car park of a shopping centre. You find them in all kinds of unusual places. So there's the parcel lockers, there's out of home delivery, and they've basically they did a deal with Poste Italiane a few years ago. We wrote about it in an analysis article a few years ago. That was sort of encouraging better quality delivery out of Poste Italiane. At the same time, Amazon has grown its delivery station network immensely. I think this really needs to be, when we talk about the pointers for the rest of the world that you learn from Italy. Okay, the halo effect, out-of-home delivery, quality of customer experience, growth in volumes, and then doing it themselves. Again, we could go on and on and on about this, but I think this is it in a nutshell. I've said all that. I'll hand it back to you. What are your comments on all of that?
Well, first of all, I think you're absolutely right. I'd add one comment that it's not just in Italy, but probably if I were to choose one operator in the Western Hemisphere that has changed or disrupted the last mile more than any other over the last 5 years, it has to be Amazon. you mentioned that they've probably got more lockers, and I think they probably have. In our new out-of-home report, Last Mile Experts out-of-home report 2022, you'll get the exact data, but I think you're right. The other surprise for me was just how big they are relative to others in the UK. Watch this space. They are developing huge competence. They are changing the face of the last mile. And why I think Italy is an interesting example is, it's not an easy market. There's no one clear dominant carrier. You've got, Bartolini, you've got the Post, you've got, I think GLS is relatively strong.
Oh, there's GLS, there's FedEx TNT, there's SDA, which is part of Poste Italiane, of course. But I've got to say, they're not the vans that you see driving around on a Saturday and Sunday delivering B2C parcels. On a Saturday and Sunday, you're seeing Amazon delivery service partners.
Well, Ian, I'll tell you something. As you know, I was in northern Italy skiing a week ago. En route, occupational hazard, I was looking at vehicles. Guess which vehicles I saw more than any other? It's incredible.
White Amazon, usually a Vito van.
The ones I saw were big line haul trucks because I was on the main motorway, the grey ones with the blue. So these guys are rocking it big time. Let's watch. The interesting thing is who's going to be next. I think, before I say it, what's your bet for the next country they're going to go for?
It's hard to say. I think that, well, can I just make this about me again? We're seeing in Australia, Amazon starting to get its act together. Amazon's entry into Australia was unimpressive. Very unimpressive. But my impression is that the investment is ongoing in Australia and that they're starting to get their range right and their pricing right. They are opening up more high-tech fulfillment and sorting facilities that they just didn't have when they entered the market a few years ago. So there is no time for complacency. And it's a lesson for not just the dominant carriers in every market. You need to understand Amazon. Again, if you want to know more about understanding Amazon in the last mile, drop us a line. I'll put a link somewhere below. We run an amazing workshop on this that you could use for your senior executive team, for your delivery people, or if you're an e-commerce player and you want to know what Amazon's really up to in the last mile. We've given a hint in this short video, but get us to do a workshop for you and your minds will be collectively blown. But I think that these are the sorts of advances that are showing that Amazon's taking a market seriously. When you see more parcel lockers popping up, more delivery facilities, what do they call them? Delivery stations? That's when you know they're taking a market seriously. So who's going to be next? I think they're going to consolidate in places like Australia, try to make a lot more money out of those markets. I don't know. It's hard to say because you mentioned that Italy is a difficult market and we've heard other people say that. Once you can master delivery in a place like Italy, which has multi-occupancy buildings, metro and rural areas, narrow streets, issues of trust, old school thinking about cash on delivery and things like that. If you can master that, then you've got learnings that you can export to other nations. I've answered your question without answering it.
Well, no, you did. My bet, I think Spain is already happening, but for me, the interesting one is going to be in Central Northern Europe. Is it going to be Sweden or Poland first? Because exactly like your story in Australia, I was underwhelmed by the launch in Poland. There are rumours that things are getting better in Turkey as well, where they also had an underwhelming launch.
In a competitive market too.
Absolutely. So let's see. But my feeling is these guys are super smart. They come in, they test the ground. Once they've got things working, bang, let's watch.
And we haven't even mentioned the air cargo network. Oh, Marek, so much we could talk about, but we've run out of time. Got to leave it here. Contact us below about our workshop and all of that. Thanks for watching this video on YouTube. Remember to click like, hit subscribe, and click the notifications bell. I might have done that in the wrong order. It might be that way across the screen. I can't remember now. But please do it. Liking and subscribing helps us keep these videos free and helps us keep generating lots of this interesting content for you on YouTube or wherever you like watching your videos. Marek Rajecki, thanks for being part of the Last Mile Profits today.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, everybody.